it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Tuesday, February 21st. So the moon is going to continue to be in Pisces here all day. We will see the moon go void, of course, at 11:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will lock into Aries energy shortly into the day here on Wednesday. So we're still in the new moon energy. We're definitely feeling the weight, the heaviness, if you will, in our physical bodies, likely low on energy. There's a lot kind of stirring inside of us, hopefully more good than bad. However, at this particular point in time, we're really just looking to rest. We're looking to unwind. We're looking to go with the flow. Now, with 7 different aspects here today, and being the day after this new moon popped off, and the very first day of Venus being in Aries energy, we're likely going to feel this lunar hangover. So think of how you feel after a wild night out. These are signs and symptoms that we are likely going to be experiencing, not to mention the ascension symptoms from some of the energy blasts from the solar winds, from the CMEs popping off from the sun. We are definitely going to be feeling heavy and weighted, like we are trying to run underwater. Again, Pisces season, water energy. So with 7 different aspects here today, we have 6 of them involving the moon. The moon is going to sextile, which is a beautiful energy, with Mr. Uranus. Uranus is the great awakener, and he tends to bring shocks, awes, if you will, epiphanies, aha moments, brilliant ideas, a change of perspective. And this is a beautiful energy because, of course, the moon in Pisces is trying to align us with our higher self, with our intuition. It is trying to channel in new ideas, new inspiration, new dreams, new visions, new goals. There's a lot of creativity that we're tapping into with this particular energy. And hopefully with this little meetup with Mr. Uranus, we are going to get a spark, a vision, I'm going to say a download of new ideas, new projects, new goals that we are going to pursue. And also we are going to receive a little bit more clarity than what it is that we've been currently working with. Of course, a lot of that clarity will not show up until the moon decides to show up again in our night sky, growing. And with that growth, we are going to grow in seeing the clarity, seeing the path forward, and really sorting through some genius ideas that we should be downloaded with this Uranus energy. The moon will square Mars, though, get into the boxing ring, create a little bit of energy of tension and conflict. This is mostly because Mars, as you know, ruler over our physical energy, our drive, our passions, our desires, our inspiration, our motivation. In Gemini energy, definitely still stuck in the intellectual battlefield, having to sort out the pros and cons and everything in between. But the tension point comes because we're still in a new moon. There should be no physical action. This is a time to rest our physical bodies because the spiritual aspect, the healing aspect, the download aspect of Piscean energy needs for our physical bodies to be in a resting state in order for this particular energy to actually take over, to lock in, and to anchor into our physical form. So here you have Mars, who just wants to go ahead and take action and make moves out in the world, especially on these new ideas, on these new inspirations, on these new visions and dreams. But we're not in a place of doing that. And so obviously we're going to find a little bit of a tension point because we have ants in our pants in one sense of the direction of our energy. The other part just wants to curl up in a ball and just lose ourselves in imaginary land. So what this tension point and conflict is going to do is, make us a little bit unsure of where it is that we should be pouring our time, energy, and attention. It is going to illuminate for us where it is that we are eager to get to work. And I think that provides us a lot of clarity because, of course, Mars has been very confused in this Gemini energy for a very long time, trying to figure out which path, which choice, which decision we actually want to take, what ideas, what projects, what goals we actually want to, take action upon. And I think that being stalled out, not being able to take the action that, a part of us is going to want to take, puts into perspective what it is that we're actually motivated and inspired to pursue. So the moon goes ahead, semi-squares with the true node. And a semi-square is a little bit of a tension point. The true node, of course, is our soul path, our destiny point, the path that we need to be on in order to get to where it is that we need to be in order to reach our soul's mission, our soul's purpose, our soul's potential. The semi-square is enough of a tension, enough of a conflict for us to realize that we don't know where it is that we're going. Let me just remind you, sometimes we are meant to just be, even if that means sitting in the confusion, contemplating our strategy, contemplating our choices, contemplating our options. We don't always have to have a plan. We don't always have to have it figured out. Sometimes there's just an energy where we have to accept where it is that we are and to lean into the confusion. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling confused, if you're feeling a little bit down, a little bit restless, accept it. Don't try and change it. There are lessons to each of the emotions that we go through. And so the moon kind of semi-squaring with the true node does kind of indicate that we're not moving forward, but we're not moving backwards either. We're just trying to be. And that's exactly what the Pisces energy wants us to do. Just be. Just unwind, go with the flow, surrender to whatever's coming up, ask it what it's like, what it's here to teach you, what it would like to teach you. And then we're going to rapidly see ourselves move into a different energy. Pisces energy, we go from one extreme to the other. We go from high to low. Again, light fish, dark fish. And there is this constant, movement. Just think of water. Think of the constant forms and constant movement that water takes. This is what Pisces season is and will continue to be for the next couple of weeks. So the moon goes ahead, comes up to, conjunct, sits next to Neptune, who rules over Pisces energy, ruler of the new moon energy that we're still sitting in. And this is going to drive home even more of the point of the fact that we just need to be, we just need to rest, we just need to chill out. We don't need to exert physical energy right now. We are active in our inner realms. We are sitting with what's coming up. We're exploring our different ideas. We are being activated in our emotional realm. We're sitting with it. We're trying to see what this energy is trying to teach us. Where did these emotions come from? Unpack that baggage. Is this something that we need to address, need to heal? Go through that particular process. Then we get distracted by something else, hopefully something in our physical realm, like a movie or a good book or something that will bring some kind of rest and relaxability to our particular circumstances because we're just supposed to chill. Here's a beautiful aspect, though. The only aspect that doesn't involve the moon here today is between Mercury and Uranus. So Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, of details, of our perspective, of communication, of how we express ourselves, in Aquarian energy, the highest form of our intelligence, where genius ideas pour in, new inspirations pour in, where perspective changes take place, all this good stuff. So that mental plane is just rapid firing all the time. Mercury will be squaring, getting into the boxing ring with Uranus, who rules over the Aquarian energy that Mercury is currently in. Uranus, being the great awakener, likes to shock us, likes to disrupt us, likes to jolt us. And because he is in Taurus energy, this is supposed to be helping us to see things from a different perspective on where it is that we need to change our physical realities, where it is that maybe we've been illuminated to what it is that we've been holding on to too tightly and essentially preventing the kind of change that many of us are hoping and praying for. So what we get here is an aha moment, a jolt of insight, a jolt of perspective shifting. This aha moment, the electricity coming into our physical body is likely going to have a major impact on our central nervous system. Go ahead, listen to the ascension forecast for this week in order to get a rundown on why we're experiencing and feeling certain things in our physical form. This particular event is going to bump up the electricity. Now that could manifest as excitement, anxiety, restlessness. This could be nervousness. What I would like to see is all of us be able to have this electricity course through our bodies, and we're going to pour it into a creative outlet, into getting this energy out of our physical body so that it isn't creating all of these not so nice feelings and sensations, and we're actually able to use this energy in a great way. We are going to be overstimulated. So it feels like there are many windows open, rapid thoughts. We feel like we're onto something. We can't put our finger on it. It's hard to think about just one thing at the same time because there's overlapping knowings and insights coming in at this time. So we're kind of bouncing all over the place. We're a little bit scatterbrained, and it feels like there could be new information, new details, new circumstances kind of pop off that are going to jolt us, disrupt us, maybe upset us emotionally. What this does, though, is this pushes us into having new ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of problem solving. We have to understand that there is a cyclic nature of recognizing where our lives need to be disrupted in order to create a certain amount of chaos, because that chaos pushes us into looking at our lives in a different way and kind of coming up with solutions that we wouldn't have even contemplated that we needed without this disruption taking place. So it feels like there's some kind of shift taking place, not only in our mental plane, but in our circumstances as well. And what I would also say is that if you find yourself in a communication dialogue here today, which FYI, we should be introverted at this time. We should be in our inner realms. We have a lot to process. We shouldn't be looking for outside stimulation when our inner realms are this active and this kind of excitable. But if you do find yourself in situations where we're communicating with other people, what I would say is to be very cautious, because we're highly impatient with this jolt of energy. And we are a little bit on edge, a little bit ready just to kind of, lash back, if you will. There's a lot of bluntness with our words. There is a high probability of misunderstandings taking place. And it feels that there is just this energy where we want to kind of be a little bit rebellious, where we want to stand our ground, but we're not speaking in a kind or respectful way. And that could lead to a lot of problems. Just consider the fact, you know how you feel when you're all full of energy and you're a little bit anxious and you're a little bit restless, and all you need is some person to say something to you that doesn't even have a whole lot of meaning in the wrong way, and you're going to go at that person and you're going to have an attitude with that person and you're going to snap back and pop off. That's going to create a situation that none of us really need to deal with right now. So when it comes to communicating, this particular energy is definitely putting us on the side of caution that we need to be on, to realize that we're going to be a little bit harsh, a little bit direct, a little bit edgy. We're eager to snap back and, of course, hurt people's feelings in that particular process. We're going to have an extra added little bit of weight put on us at this particular time, because the moon goes ahead and bumps into Saturn, the Mr. Lord of Karma himself, ruling over roles and responsibilities, systems, foundations, and structures. And he always brings a little bit of a negative Nancy attitude with him, a little bit of a Debbie Downer type of situation, not to kind of purposefully knock the wind out of our sails, but just to make sure that we've thought about everything, that we've weighed the pros and cons about what we got going on here. But the weight that we're feeling is very much the weight that popped off under the new moon. If you still need to check out that astro forecast for the new moon, go ahead, listen to it. We're going to be in this lunar cycle until the next new moon, so you may as well know the lay of the land here. And there's still time to do the moon guide if you haven't done it already. But Saturn was a major key player with the moon and the sun under this new moon in Pisces, and definitely brought a weight, because we got to get our shit together, and we have to understand that we got to do the work in order to actually change and shift our realities. And this particular pop-off, I would say, is going to overwhelm us to the point where we just want to check out and disassociate. We feel the weight of our roles and responsibilities. We feel the weight, the heaviness of the tasks and chores that we have to complete. We feel the stress kind of building, because we know that it's almost, get up and go time. And when get up and go time actually does pop off, we're going to have a major responsibility and weight to bear on us until we complete this bridge that we're building. And this bridge, of course, is a new system. It's a new foundation. basically brought to life on the realizations that we've had since Saturn has been in Aquarius energy, which is about implementing healthy boundaries to make sure that we're not constantly putting our own wants, needs, and desires on the back burner in order to do what we think other people want us to do. We should have been learning the lesson about where it is that we have to stop playing safe and where it is that we need to be kind of a little bit more forceful and standing out. And the emotions that we're going through right now because of this Pisces energy, we're overwhelmed, we're overstimulated. We don't really want to take part in the real life, real world right now. And that's what Saturn's all about. So the moon in Pisces is just like, you know what, screw that. It can wait for a couple more days. Let's just live in la la land. Let's live in imaginary land. Let's live in fantasy land. Let's just ignore the amount of work that is awaiting me when the universe gives me the green light go ahead and start putting some elbow grease behind what it is that I need to do to build a new system, a new foundation, a new reality for myself. So it doesn't feel so good. The last aspect that we have here today is the moon sextiling, which is a beautiful energy, with Pluto, the great transformer. And so what this is kind of suggestive of is that, Pluto wants us to change. He wants us to transform for the better. He wants us to boss up. He wants us to take our power back. He wants us to recognize where in our past experiences we gave too much of our power away and where that led to some unfortunate circumstances that we likely learned a very tough love life lesson from. But Pluto is here for it. He's here to cheer us on. He's here to push us in the uncomfortable boundaries that we need to be pushed into in order to stand in our power and make a great change. And the moon being our emotions, being our intuition and our instinct, our unconscious selves. In this Pisces energy, we're very dreamy, we're very empathetic, we're healing, we're cleansing, we're, being motivated and inspired with new visions, new ideas, new dreams. And so there is a little bit of an indicator here that we're going to wrap up the day on a high note and that there is a shift in our inner realm. We are leaning towards what it is that we want to do. We are seeing where it is that major changes are needed. We are bossing up and taking our power back. We are stepping into the roles of accountability that we have to kind of, step up to the plate and really seize in order for us to be in control of what it is that we are going to build and going to create from here. And of course, that's what this new moon in Pisces energy is all about. Asking us to dream a bigger dream and get to work in actually bringing it to life.